Shalom. With the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General YAHANNA. And what we teach is that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel according to the Bible. And we are not affiliated. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. If you are not in the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General YAHANNA, then you are not in the truth. You understand?
That's out of the bar. You want one of these or you want one of these?
Let me get one of the little ones. It tastes like Dos Equis.
Oh, damn.
All right, Shalom, Shah. If y'all got any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat. If you got any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat.
Like this, little side.
Thought.
You want to taste it first?
All right, taste it.
Once more?
Thought.
Sweet. Alright, y'all. I'm not ready.
Alright, that's short and fat.
All right, so if we got any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat. Type them into the comments. Salagi for running a little late today. Had a little mix up with the keys, so Salagi for running behind. But we gonna get to it. So I get out of one. Was you gonna read from me?
God, I can't even.
Nah. It's been a while since I had a reader.
Yes, sir. Makes the class run so fluid.
Alright, so Baba Kashad the one, if I could. I always like to start off with Deuteronomy 7:6. If we could.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people.
Said, for thou art a what?
A holy people.
You understand? The Bible says that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are a holy people. You understand? I bring this out every time I teach class. Every time I teach the law class, I wanna bring this out that we are supposed to be a holy people. You understand? Not a people addicted to drugs. Not a people blowing rent money at a strip club. You understand? Not a people that's gang banging, killing their own brothers. You understand? The Lord said what?
For thou art a holy people.
For thou art a holy people. Go ahead.
Unto the Lord thy God.
Unto who?
The Lord thy God.
It says we are a holy people unto the Most High. You understand? That's a heavy statement. You know, we like to think is, you know, we grow up in the world and we grow up as Christians under this Christian ideology. You understand? As a Christian, you can be whatever, anything that you want to be. You understand? If you was born a man, you can just say, you can just be like, I feel like I was born a woman. You understand? The doctor made a mistake. You understand? If you black in America, you can be Muslim. You understand? You can be Asiatic. You can be African. You understand? You can be an American. America is a so-called Christian country. You understand? So as a Christian, we believe that we are anything, and us believing that we are anything, then that means that we are nothing. Because you got this group of black people thinking that we come from Egypt. And then those group of black people that say we come from Egypt, they don't even believe we come from Egypt. They'll tell you out their own mouth. You understand? And then the Christian church, you know, they try to make you believe. They you know, here's the thing that gets me about the Christian church. The Christian church is racist.
Damn right.
You understand? The Christian church is racist. You want to know how you know? Because when you drive around, you see these big, beautiful churches. You understand? Church has been there 150 years. And you walk in that church on Sunday, and you're the only black person in there. You understand? And then, but then you go to the hood. I know. At least in Anderson, most of your black churches are, you know, damn near look like double wide trailers. You understand? Office buildings. But then you got some black churches filled with black people with money. And you know what they do? They give all their money to their pastor. They get their pastor the mansion. You understand? The cars, the houses, the planes, the Lamborghinis for his wife. You understand? But yet, none of that money goes back into the black community. That money that goes into them black churches goes into the hand of the white man, who then uses that money to gentrify black neighborhoods. That's what happens within the Christian church. Christianity is the religion of white supremacy. And they don't believe in the Bible. Because if they believed in the Bible, then they would believe that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are holy people unto the Most High. You understand? That's a heavy thing. The Lord brought down empires because of the children of Israel. You understand? So it's not a light thing to say that when we say that the black man is a Jew, that's not a light thing. That's a heavy thing.
That's right.
You understand? And that almost dismantles the mind of a white Christian to even think, because white Christians believe in some false prophecy that when America stops supporting the country Israel, that the Lord going to destroy America. You understand? You know the Israelis that live over in Israel, our oppressor in his Christianity, he believes that when America no longer supports Israel, the country Israel, not blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, but the country, the people who so-called went through the so-called Holocaust. You understand? They believe that when America stops supporting them, when they turn their back on them, then God's going to judge them for it. That's what every white Christian believes in their heart of hearts. You understand? So for you to tell them, or for them to hear that the black man is the Jew, then that puts them in fear. Because then they go back and think, well, America has never been, and it makes them forced to understand the reality that America has never been with black people.
That's right.
America has always been against black people. In fact, a lot of white Christians, and I brought this out before. You know, I'm not gonna bring it out tonight. I'll bring it out again for a later class. But a lot of these people, you know how people say, "Oh, I got white friends. You know, some of them cool, man. I got this white friend. He don't seem like he racist at all." Well, here's the thing. Newsflash. A lot of your so-called white friends, when black people on the weekends, when we get a little extra money, what we do? We go into the club. We'll have a little drinky drink. You understand? But your so-called white friends, they spending their extra money paying for sponsoring abortions for black people. They call these abortion clinics and say, "Hey, I'd like to pay for 10 abortions." Let's say, okay, yeah, we can get you signed up and get you to fund 10 abortions. And then they'll say, well, is it possible for me to choose what race I want to pay for? They're like, yeah, you can choose what race. They say, yeah, well, good. I want to pay for 5 blacks and 5 Hispanics. I want to pay for those. You understand? That's what your white friends are doing. They are paying for the death of black and Hispanic babies. So in America, we are nothing. To the world, we are nothing. You understand? So we shouldn't be trying to join hands with the world. We shouldn't be trying to beg America. When I see all these rioting in the street, man, this is what I see, man. And it's a sad thing to see. It's a sad thing to see my people rioting in the streets. I understand the pain. You know what I mean? I understand the pain. What I don't agree with is how there's organizations that use our pain as a tool to fuse their agendas. You understand? They get black people to support these riots and these protests, and then after the protests, when the people who set up the protests actually had these meetings with the senators and the governors and the courts and the Supreme Courts, you know what they in there talking about? They're not in there talking about black lives, talking about Black Lives Matter. Here's the thing. George Floyd got killed, right? Black Lives Matter rises back up again. Like a bad herpes outbreak. Here come Black Lives Matter. George Floyd got killed, right? They went rioting all across America. And then you know what the result of all that rioting was? They went to court, and when they had their day in court, they fought for the rights of transgender people. They went and pushed for a law making it to where you could not fire a transgender person based on their, I don't even know what you call it, their sexuality, sexual orientation. I don't know what you call it. What that considered. You understand? But they pushed for that, and now that's law off of the blood of Salaki. I forgot the brother's name. The brother's George Floyd. So I was about to say Stephen Jackson for some reason, but off of the blood of George Floyd, now it's illegal to fire a transgender. What does the two have to do with each? George Floyd wasn't no transgender. He was a black man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what happened to stopping cops from killing black people?
Yeah, right.
You understand? What happened with that? You understand? So it breaks my heart to see us go down and beg our oppressor for more food. It's like you see that. What's that? I don't even know what movie it's from. Where the guy the little kid gets a little bowl of soup, eat the little bowl of soup, and come back like, please, sir, can I have some more? Don't even know what that's from. That's what it looks like when we go down there and protest and riot because one of our people got murdered, man. We shouldn't be going down to the murderer, asking the murderer for mercy.
That's right. You
understand? What we should do is we should separate from that nation.
Damn right.
We should separate from that people. You understand? If somebody's out to kill you, you don't go looking for them so he can kill you. You understand? You flee from that person. You get as far away from that person as you can if somebody wants to do you harm. You understand? That's why different nations have borders. They have borders so that they can have some way to defend themselves. Well, black people, we living in a country where we have no defense.
That's right.
You understand? And instead of doing what we need to do, we want to listen to the things that sound good. And we want to do the things that our heart, that our feelings, what feels good and what sounds good. And as long as we continue to do the things what feel good and what sounds good, then we're going to always be destroyed in America. You understand?
That's right.
We're going to always end up the victims of some type of unjust homicide. You understand? And Salaki. You understand? We're going to always be the victim of that. The Lord said we are a holy people. You understand? We are a holy people. The word holy. Somebody in the class, somebody quickly explain to me what holy means. What does it mean to be holy? Somebody break it down for me. You understand? What does it mean to be holy? I remember growing up in the Christian church. To be holy, you know, I don't even know what the Christian church believe holy to be. You know, I still don't know. You know, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go ask a pastor. I'm gonna have to call us a pastor. Excuse me, pastor. What does holy mean? Just to see what they got to say.
Like if I could.
Go ahead.
Well, holy for them is convulsing and running around in circles and speaking in tongues and all of that crap they do inside of the damn Christian church.
Foaming at the mouth.
That's
what Taza I used to say all the time.
Foaming at the mouth.
He said it'd be foaming at the mouth. You understand? So the Lord said we are a holy people, man. Somebody explain to me. Break it down for me. You said the sound is a little low? Give me 1 second, Baba Kasha.
Yeah, I think I did see them, man. That comments.
All right, how's that? Is that better? Is that better? How about that? How about that? That should be better right there. All right, Officer Shaw says to be separate from other nations. You're right. But, you know, to keep it simpler, it just means separate. You understand? Right, to be a separate people, to be set apart. How the Gentiles, as a holy to Gentiles as a demon possessing them. That's what it seemed like. You know, that's what it seemed like. You know what I mean? Because you got all these Christian pastors is talking about they holy pastors, but yet they molesting kids. All right, Most High in Christ. Most High in Christ, we got the sound right. All right, so it looks like y'all definitely on point today. You can read on out of wine, if you could.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee.
He had done what?
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee.
No, this is natural selection.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee.
No, this is human evolution.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee.
The Lord thy God chose blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Think about how heavy that is. Think about how heavy that is, man. As a black man, you should hold your head high. As a Hispanic man, you should hold your head high. In the midst of all this oppression that we go through, you should hold your head high. You understand? Because the Lord saw the white man and looked over the white man. Mm-hmm. Saw the Chinese man and looked over the Chinese man. Mm-hmm. Saw the Arab man, looked over the Arab man. They got riches and power galore all across the globe. Saw the African man and guess what? Looked over the African man and he looked down at blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians and he chose us. He chose us to be a holy people. Read on.
So like it. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
To be a what?
A special people unto himself.
To be an ordinary people.
To be a special people unto himself.
To be regular.
To be a special people unto himself.
The Lord chose blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to be a special people unto himself. You understand? It's not hard to tell, man. You can just look at the history of black people and tell that we are a special people on this earth. You understand? You look at how we held it down through slavery for 300 years of slavery. We survived that. We survived in conditions where no man should have survived. You understand? I've been down to the plantation in Charleston. I'm going to always talk about it because it blows my mind. You understand what our forefathers went through during slavery.
That's right.
Down in Charleston, they were known for growing a crop. They called it Carolina Gold. And what it was these big yellow rice kernels. It was yellow, basically like yellow rice. Country yellow rice is what Charleston was known for. I'm talking world famous. Between that and cotton, They were almost neck and neck for the number one export of America. It was rice and cotton. So in Charleston, that was the biggest rice export in the world, above China. You know, China, it's like all they eat is rice. They breed, it's like rice, they use rice to build houses out there in China. You understand? It's crazy what they doing with rice out there. You understand? But Charleston exported more rice than anywhere in the world. You understand? And if you ever go down there, there's a plantation, they call it the Magnolia Plantation. If you go down to the Magnolia Plantation, right behind the slave house or the plantation house, maybe about a quarter mile behind it, and you have this marshland. It almost looks like a swamp. It don't look like a swamp. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's what a swamp looks like. You know, I don't know. I've never been to a swamp before, but to me, I describe it as a river with grass growing in the middle of it. That's what it looked like.
It's like a damn swamp.
Yeah. Okay, that's a swamp. All right. So here's the deal, right? They had black people as young as 5 years old working in these marshlands. I'm talking knee deep, waist deep in marsh water, warm marshland water. And we talking about in a marshland where the mosquitoes are kicking. Mm-hmm. Not only the mosquitoes, but there was a spider that lived amongst the marshland that was so poisonous that if it bit you, you would be dead before anybody found you. Not only that, but you had water moccasins, copperheads, rattlesnakes. Maybe not rattlesnakes.
It's like if I could, also I do believe alligators.
Alligators. That was loud. I was saving the best one for last.
I got to it before you did.
Yeah. They had and alligators. The full life expectancy for a slave in Charleston was 25 years old. 25 years old.
Damn.
And yet, there's still black people in Charleston. And yet, they still ain't just broke out into a rage and start hanging white people in the street. You understand? That right there, they try to paint us up like we just so savage and just thugs and just apex predators. They just put us out like we just monsters on the earth. But when Osama bin Laden bombed the World Trade Center, America went and ripped through the entire Middle East and didn't even catch their man. Killed hundreds of thousands of people in the name of 9/11. You understand? I believe it might have been millions of people that died. You understand? Killed at least hundreds of thousands of people in the name of 9/11, but nobody calls them a monster. You understand? They call black people a monster because we beef with each other over Facebook. You understand? But yet our oppressor goes and genocides entire populations for cyber attacks. You understand? Donald Trump, just what was it? Just December, November, when they was trying to impeach him. You notice they don't talk about that impeaching thing no more. That's non-existent in the news. You understand? But Donald Trump dropped a bomb from a predator drone on an Iranian general. Nobody calls him a murderer, an apex predator. You understand? Shaw said like they did before with Hiroshima. Right. You understand? They retaliate when somebody do something against them. And if you think about it, I mean, you know, if America is supposed to be the moral high ground and we supposed to be the good guys, then I understand why they would expect, a lot of white people expect us to one day just snap and be like, you know what? Let's go get us some rope. Let's start hanging them. You know, Greenville is now Blackville. You understand? Chucktown is now Nigger Town. You understand? They expect us to one day do that because they are murderers at heart. You understand? They are murderers at heart. They enacted the gun laws in America not to keep people safe, They enacted gun laws in America to keep white people safe from black people.
That's right.
That's why they started the gun laws. When they saw them black people walk up in the courthouse in California and call themselves the Black Panthers, carrying M16s and shotguns and pistols,
Military.
you know, surrounded the whole courthouse. They was like, oh no, we need to make these guns illegal for black folks. They cannot have those. So that's why you have so many gun laws. You got all these tax stamps and, you know, for all the gun guys out there. You know, that's why all those things got enacted, because it was in response to the Black Panthers exercising their Second Amendment right. So like the Second Amendment, I don't know, one of them amendments that say you can bear arms. You understand? I believe it's the Second Amendment.
That's correct.
So the Lord said that we are a special people. He chose us to be a special people. You understand? We can read on.
God. Above all people.
Above what?
Above all people.
Now this is where it get tricky for a Christian. Christians like to think, oh, Jesus loved everybody. Not my Jesus. Not my God. That's how they pronounce it. They pronounce God, G-A-W-T. God. Not my God. Not my Jesus. You understand? But the Lord said he chose blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to be a special people above every nation on the earth, man. And I read ahead of, I spoke ahead of my wine for reading, but but blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians were chosen to be above every nation on the earth. You understand? And if I could we drop that and go to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 1. Malkashah.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
You understand? See, it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord of the Most High. You understand? If we shall hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High. Black man, you need to ask yourself a question. You need to ask yourself this question. Hispanic man too. Native Indian man too. You need to ask yourself this question. Has blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians as a nation hearkened diligently unto the voice of the Lord? Have we done it? No. You can tell that by just by crack addiction.
Right.
Just by heroin addiction.
Yeah, right.
Just by the rate of child molestation. You understand? By the rate of imprisonment across the globe for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Yeah, right.
You understand? A lot of brothers who claim they in the truth, you know, turn a blind eye to the Native Indian brothers. But here's the thing: these Native Indian brothers, they don't turn their blind eye to black people's plight. They don't do it because they going through the same thing.
Damn right.
You understand? I watched a documentary one time, and this was I want to say it was before I ever found the truth, and it broke my heart when I seen it. You know, I didn't even know I was a Gadite. I thought I was a Judite at this time. You know what I mean? So you know, there's a funny story about that whole thing. I thought I was a Judite. Then it was like, oh man, I'm a Gadite. You know, but it's all good though. You know, we 12 tribes strong. So here's the deal, right? I watched this documentary, and I can't remember what tribe it was or what city and state, and I wish I could find it. But out of the whole reservation, they had one car, and they took turns with the car. Every day, somebody different would be driving that car. And the car was not even, you couldn't say it was a Chevy Tahoe or a Cadillac DeVille. You couldn't say that. The front half of it was a Toyota. The back half of it was a Honda. And the doors came off a Jeep. You see what I'm saying? So this thing was put together with random parts and just made into an automobile. That's what you call it. It's an automobile. It gets you from point A to point B maybe. And I think it was a drop top. I might be wrong, but it was a car that was put together from a bunch of different car parts from all different kinds of cars. Not only did they have one car, majority of the children never own a pair of shoes until they would get around 12 years old. You understand? The houses, my goodness, the houses that they lived in. Okay, imagine a little 2-bedroom house, right? A small one with no power running into it. No air conditioning. No, all it is walls and windows and doors. That's it. You understand? And then each little town or whatever, like you have like little neighborhoods where you might have 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 houses. In the middle of those little neighborhoods, you have a water spout that everybody shared. Everybody shared it. Every day they would go out there with their bucket, fill it up with water, and take it back into the house. And that was what they used for the day. You understand? And they lived in such horrible poverty. You understand? Drug addiction, alcoholism, CDV, domestic violence, child molestation, suicide, heroin addiction. You understand? They've been depleted of anything that you would consider to be a luxury. You understand? And you got brothers and sisters that have their nose to turn their nose up at the Native Indians because a small portion of them made some money. A small portion of them. You can't sit here and say, oh, the Native Indians ain't Israelites, they got casinos. But you can say the same thing about Judah. We got rappers and record labels.
That's right.
You understand? Am I wrong? You understand? We got drug empires and TV stations. We got Oprah Winfrey. So does that exclude Judah from the equation? Because majority of Judah is still in poverty, still being oppressed, forgotten about by their leaders. And guess what? Native Indians still destroyed in the reservations, still oppressed, forgotten about by their leaders. You understand? Hispanics. Why do you think Hispanics are struggling so hard to try to come into America? Why do you think they try? This is the thing that kills me about brothers who try to hate on Hispanics, right? This is the thing, right? A lot of black folks, we like to think, well, if I could move to Africa, I would. Have you ever heard that from anybody Ottawa?
Yeah.
A lot of black folks say, man, if I could just pack up and move to Africa, I'd get up out of here. Pack up and move somewhere else. You know, and a lot of black folks have done it. I was watching an interview on Vlad TV the other day, a dude from Outlaws. I can't remember, I think his name was Napoleon, dude from Outlaws, used to rap with Tupac. After all that stuff went down, he packed his whole family up, moved into Saudi Arabia. You understand? And guess what? Black people, we live in such a hell in America. We consider moving. I was living under such oppression that I even contemplated moving to Mexico. Like, straight up. I was like, well, at least in Mexico, they ain't going to care about my suspended license in America.
Awesome.
You understand? Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, so, you know, you got to think about it like this. We here in America being oppressed, considering going to other countries, but then you have Hispanics that are fleeing their country. They are on foot from South America through the jungle, through hostile territories, through other countries where they would be considered illegal immigrants, just to go through Mexico to sneak into America. You understand? Because life as an illegal immigrant in America, with the constant threat of being deported, is better for them and for their children than to stay where they at.
So like, if I could, that's just so damn heavy what you saying, man, because last time I checked, I ain't seen a bunch of Judites on foot right now
Ain't seen it.
And masses trying to get across the Mexican border to escape America.
Ain't seen it.
So you know it's got to be hell in Mexico where you would risk your life getting past border patrol to sneak into this country. You know what I'm saying? When we get brutalized every goddamn day by the police or the stronghold of this earth, they coming across trying to escape whatever hell is over there in Mexico.
Right. And see, the thing is, it's not really so much. It's not mainly Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It's mainly countries like Nicaragua,
Right, like Guatemala,
Venezuela. Matter of fact, Venezuela last year, and I like to bring this out because in Venezuela, right, you hear about what happened. You know, the Kemite, the what they call them, I don't even know, the Kemites, the Brother Polite and them.
the comedic,
The good guys,
right.
the conscious community.
Conscious community.
So the conscious community, they used to always try to bring up, well, didn't y'all eat your own babies? they love bringing that up. Didn't y'all eat your own babies? You understand? But here's the thing, right? The reason why that happened is because the Romans surrounded Jerusalem with an army. And anybody that tried to cross that line in or out of Jerusalem was put to death.
Mm-hmm.
So that means there was no food being imported into Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
There was no food being exported out of Jerusalem.
That's right.
There was no clothing, no silk, no milk, no cheese, no nothing imported into Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what happened? People in Jerusalem began to starve for weeks. It got so bad that we used to wear these leather war belts on our waist. It got so bad that brothers used to cut the leather up on their war belts, boil it and eat it. You understand? And you know, and check this out. If you think it's crazy, think it sounds crazy. In Haiti, they was eating dirt pies. You understand? You ever remember?
So like, if I could,
if
I'm not mistaken, in some part of Haiti today, they still doing that.
Still eating dirt pies.
There's a whole documentary about them actually showing you how they actually even make the mud pies out of dirt.
Yeah, they making mud pies, making them out of dirt. You understand? Making them out of dirt. It was a dirt water, I think maybe a little bit of sugar.
Right.
Like, come on now. You understand? Our tribes is in trouble, man. You understand? And here's the thing, they surrounded Jerusalem so bad, you know, eventually we ran out of leather.
Yeah, right.
You understand? Eventually some people started cooking babies. And let me tell you something. Listen, I'm just gonna be real. If you ain't ate nothing in 3 weeks, you ain't ate nothing. You the only water you drinking is what come out the sky. After 3 weeks, you delirious. Then all of a sudden you smell something that smell like lamb prepared at the Passover.
Yeah, right.
You understand? You ain't no telling what you're gonna do after 3 weeks of starving. And you're already wicked and evil because you didn't listen to the Most High when he said to flee into the wilderness.
That's right.
You understand? You're gonna eat whatever is cooking. And ain't gonna ask no questions. And will bust somebody's head for it. You understand? So here's the thing. That is a tactic of Esau. And if you don't think it's for real, just look at Haiti. You understand? It was Jamaica for a while. You understand? When they passed these embargoes to make it to where you can't do no international trade, hey, that means it's time for you to get it off the muscle. And depending on how well they got you oppressed in that country, you might be eating dirt pies. You understand? So here's the thing. In Venezuela, they was basically they were basically trying to force the Venezuelans to kind of adopt like democracy. You know, having like an Americanized government. You understand? So like trading in the American dollar, you know, dealing with American politics and kind of joining America similar to how Puerto Rico joined America. And Venezuela refused. They refused to do it. So what happened was America had so much influence in South America that they basically mandated all the countries that surrounded Venezuela to cut them off. Nothing goes in or out of it through that country to Venezuela. Nothing. And if it comes to Venezuela from another country, they was to seize it. So you know what started happening? Venezuelans started starving to death. They started starving to death. You understand? They started eating dirt pies. You understand? Now, I haven't really seen in the news what's happened since. I'm pretty sure that they may have worked something out and that embargo was lifted. But how much longer you think before, they lock off the country of Venezuela before people started killing and eating each other?
Damn right.
You understand? Because you got to understand, man, we are being oppressed by this beast, man.
That's right.
You understand? There's only one way to end this oppression. We like to think that, because here's the thing, man. Black people, a lot of black people thinking we can pick up guns and go to war with white supremacy and win here in America. You don't understand the reach of white supremacy. White supremacy has reach in Mexico, in Guatemala, Venezuela, Colombia, El Salvador. There's a book that I like to bring out all the time. It's called The Massacre at El Mozote. In El Salvador, they killed an entire town called El Mozote, took all the bodies and burned them in a big old church. You understand? And the reason why they was doing this is you had two sides. I can't remember. I think it was a break off of the Mexican Revolution. But you had two sides throughout all of Hispaniola. You had the ones that wanted to join America and the ones who wanted to stay separate from America. And in El Salvador, all the ones who wanted to stay separate from America, those were considered the rebels, the rebel armies. You understand? And somehow the government or the El Salvadoran government got wind that rebels were housed up in El Mozote, which they actually were not, and ordered soldiers to go down there and kill every single man, woman, and child in the whole town. You understand? And burn them alive in that church. Just to hunt some rebels. And the rebels wasn't even in that town. You understand? And they did that as kind of like, just to prove to America that we are loyal to America.
Right.
You understand? So that's the thing, and I always bring that story out as a caution for black people and Hispanic people to watch carefully when you have a leader that wants to join these other nations. Because you go back to the book of Maccabees, there was wicked, evil men among us that said, come, let us join ourselves unto the heathen.
Right.
You understand? And Mattathias was in the spirit of UPK. He was like, we ain't going for that.
Damn right.
You understand? And went to war with anybody that stood in his path. You understand? And so here's the deal, man. The Lord chose us to be a special people on this earth. You understand? Above every other nation on this earth. You understand? And the only way we was going to be above these nations is if we did what? Keep the law, statutes, and commandments.
Damn right.
You understand? Not by rioting and protesting. Not by begging our oppressor. You understand? And not by celebrating the 4th of July. You understand? There's an article I want to bring out. Matter of fact, if I could, Baba Kashah. So like I said, if it's too wild, I'll text you the link.
Yeah, come. Go ahead.
It's a short article.
Go short.
I'm just going to text you this link. You know what I'm saying? It's a story about a situation that happened here in South Carolina
All right.
just recently. All right, you can read it whenever you got it on one.
All right, yeah, no sweat. All right, this is from WJCL22 ABC. All right. Title of the article is Family. Jasper County teen was sleeping in his bed when he was shot in the head during a drive-by.
Goodness gracious!
All right.
So this young brother was laying in the bed, sleep. You understand? Ends up getting struck by a bullet during a drive-by. You understand? Read on.
Authorities in the Low Country say a teenager is in critical condition after being shot in the head as he slept. According to the Jasper County Sheriff's Office, deputies responded around 2:45 a.m. Tuesday to a home on the 2800 block of Gillison Branch Road in Pineland. That's where they found the 15-year-old with a bullet wound to his head. Family members told authorities the teen was sleeping when shots ranged out during a drive-by shooting. The teen was flown to Savannah Memorial Hospital and was listed in critical condition as of Tuesday night. Detectives are working to identify the suspect vehicle and shooter. Detectives and our victim's advocate have been working through the day attempting to identify a suspect or suspects, said Sheriff Chris Malfris. This investigation is ongoing and your prayers for the family are needed. Pray for our Jasper County and your law enforcement who are working nonstop to bring justice.
Here's what I want to know. Does Black Lives Matter give a damn about this 15-year-old? Hell no. I watched a clip of what's that sodomite's name? Don Lemon. You ever heard of Don Lemon?
Yeah.
Don Lemon just you know how when people say he just strike the wrong nerve.
Mm-hmm.
Don Lemon strike all the wrong nerves when I watch him.
Okay.
I just can't stand seeing him sitting up there. I just can't stand it. You know what I mean? I just can't stand it. You understand? It make me sick just hearing some of the things he has to say. But who was it that was on his show one day? Salakia. I believe it was might have been Terry Crews. I think it was Terry Crews. Let me look it up.
Do the research. I got you.
I think because Terry Crews made a comment about Black Lives Matter.
Okay, give me a second.
Now I'm not taking Terry Crews' side at all. Because Terry Crews was on some love everybody type stuff. You know, it's about all lives and blase, blah. But he did have a heavy point in saying that Black Lives Matter you don't hear them, you don't see them when it comes to black on black violence. You don't see them when it comes to black lives. Because one of the things he was saying was that if we're gonna say that Black Lives Matter, then all black lives need to matter. Not just the ones that matter. Not just the ones that get killed by a white man, but all black lives need to matter. You found?
I got an article on it if you want me to go into
Yeah,
it.
please, Baba Shah.
All right, this is from USA Today. All right, title of this article is called Terry Crews and CNN's Don Lemon Clash Over Black Lives Matter During Broadcast. Don Lemon and Terry Crews got into a heated discussion about the Black Lives Matter movement during a CNN broadcast Monday. In the clip shared to social media, Lemon says, "Terry, you're a high-profile person. You're writing things out there. You know you're going to get black backlash."
See, I can't stand this sodomite. Go ahead, Salaki.
On June 30, Crews sparked controversy with a tweet that read, "If you are a child of God, you are my brother and sister. I have family of every race, creed, and ideology.
Of course, Terry Crews would say that, his wife is an Edomite. You understand? So Terry Crews loves everybody. But that ain't like I said, I'm not taking Terry Crews' side in this argument, even though he does make some heavy points. So go ahead and read on.
We must ensure Black Lives Matter doesn't morph into Black Lives Better. Let me continue talking about the origins of Black Lives Matter. The Black Lives Matter movement was started because it was started about police brutality. If you want an all Black Lives Matter movement that talks about gun violence in communities, including black communities, then start that movement with that name, he said. But that's not what Black Lives Matter is about.
Right.
He continued, if someone started a movement that said cancer matters, and then someone comes in and says, why aren't you talking about HIV? It's not the same thing.
See, this is why I can't stand this sodomite. He just need to be ripped off the TV while he's speaking in mid-sentence. Like, I just, you know how back in the old cartoons, they used to have a man on the side stage with the hook. And he'll stick that long hook out and grab you by the neck and yank you off stage.
Salakia, if I'm not mistaken, what's the black platform that artists and comedians were able to get on? I think it's out of New York somewhere.
Apollo.
The Apollo. I think
did.
they had a cat that used to go in with a broom.
The Sandman.
Sweep you off the
yeah. The Sandman need to show up on CNN.
Right.
He need to get that man up out of there, man. Talking about, he said, Black Lives Matter, we ain't about all that. We ain't about saving black lives. We about political advances. He basically told you what Black Lives is about.
Right.
He told you that. This is Don Lemon, CNN, highly respected news, news anchor. Heavily tied with Black Lives Matter.
Right.
And he tells you straight up that they don't care about black lives. They don't care about black on black violence. That's not their movement. You understand? Their movement is solely based on political advances, political opportunists. Meaning that when a cop kills a black man, that's their opportunity to jump all over it to do what? Go to Congress and get them to pass some bill making it illegal to fire transgenders.
Right.
You understand? If Black Lives Matter ain't Black Lives Matter, man. That's the LGBTQT YCOWXYZ Lives Matter. You understand? So Don Lemon says that Black Lives do not. He said Black Lives Matter. That's not their movement. Right. They don't care about when a black child is killed by a black man. When a black man kills another black man. They don't care about a black child getting killed in a drive-by. They don't care about 450,000 babies murdered in abortion clinics. They don't care about that. You understand? The only place on the earth that cares about all them black lives that Black Lives Matter don't give a damn about is the I.S.U.P.K.
Damn right.
You understand? It's the I.S.U.P.K, man.
That's
and I'm going to tell you something. That's what I realized about the I.S.U.P.K when I joined the I.S.U.P.K. You understand? Because here's the deal. Before I came into the truth, I had a genuine love for my people. You understand? I had a genuine love and felt a genuine pain when I found out about how many black babies get aborted. You understand? I actually had tears in my eyes. You understand? When I became an officer, I had to get counsel on this. I had to get counsel on this, and this is why General Muhammad gave me the best counsel that I've ever gotten. I thought I was being weak one day, just sissified, just crying for no reason. You know what I mean? And I just kept thinking, there was a situation that happened. I'm not gonna go too much into detail, but there was a young sister that ended up getting molested. And the I.S.U.P.K was the only people that acted in that situation.
That's right.
You know what I mean? They was the only people that acted. You understand? And the thing is after all of that was said and done, You know, I played a small part in it. You know, I just basically, you know, just followed whatever orders I was given. So, you know, I played a very, very, very tiny, small role in it. But it allowed me to learn a lot about what goes on in South Carolina regarding molested children in black communities.
That's right.
And so many things end up coming out. And I learned so many things. Eventually, a couple of years down the road, it just kind of all just started just weighing on me one day. And it brought tears to my eyes. I tried to stop crying and, you know, just couldn't stop. Just, you know, try to play the game and kill some people on the video game, and it's not like I don't even want to do this, man. I just can't even get it out of my head, man. I'm supposed to be this hardcore soldier. Here I am crying. You understand? And I called General Muhammad. I told General Muhammad, I said, "Salakia, sir, I think I need to be checked. I think I need a good check-in real quick. I need to get my head together." He's like, give me 5 minutes, I can put back in just what you need. So I gave him the whole rundown, and he pulled the scripture and showed me about Christ wept. And Christ weeping for his people. And that I was weeping for my people, for the suffering of my people. And the thing is that I know that council, General Muhammad, wept for the condition of his people.
That's right.
You understand? Because this whole brotherhood, one of the things that you always hear about the I.S.U.P.K. is we are the cornerstone of the I.S.U.P.K. is brotherhood. You understand? It's brotherhood, man. You understand? And what that means is, in the I.S.U.P.K., we have compassion for all the little children in South Carolina that get molested, that never see justice, that you never hear about.
That's right.
You understand? In South Carolina, they don't even have a specific division like a special victims unit to even investigate these crimes.
That's right.
You understand? And the main reason why there is no special victims unit is because 95% of the child, I'm making this number up. I'm just making this number up based off of the amount of people that I've spoken to. Out of the people that I've spoken to, 95% of them go unreported. They go unreported. And those children grow to be adults who are forever traumatized and continue to show you that they are traumatized by how they dress, how promiscuous they are, the drugs that they do, the violence that they commit. You understand? All of these things play into a lot of the symptoms that plague Black America. You understand? And in South Carolina, they don't care about black children. They do not care. You understand? You know what they do with black children? I grew up down here, man. You understand? And different from DC. One thing I can say about schools in DC is schools in DC, you live in some black neighborhoods, you got black teachers, black principal, black guidance counselors and all that. Mm-hmm. But in the South, you got an all black school with all white teachers,
damn right,
all white principals, all white guidance counselors, and half the students end up in an alternative school. And then all the students that end up being career alternative school goers end up going to prison. You understand? They force you at an early age to get ready to go to prison.
That's right.
You understand? That's what they do. You know, they don't sit down and try to figure out why is he so aggressive. They don't care about that. They say, oh, he's so aggressive? Well, we need to put him in alternative school. Maybe doing push-ups and getting yelled at is going to do him some better. Well, them push-ups and getting yelled at don't do nothing but turn him right to a life of crime. He don't go home and do homework. He go home and pick up the dope sack and go hit the trap because he got to help keep the lights on this month because his father's serving 25 to life. You understand? So these are the curses that we facing. This child died for no reason. 15 years old, man. You understand? I've got brothers or friends that are close like brothers, man. that I've seen their children grow from infancy to now 15, 14, 16 years old, man. You understand? 15, 16 years old, a lot of these young men still innocent. Still ain't went out here and done a lot of things that, I done at 15. You understand? And a lot of these 15-year-old young men, they ain't been exposed to enough of the Christian church to be wicked and disgusting.
Right.
You understand? A lot of them, and a lot of them, praise be the Most High, a lot of them are starting to get raised by their fathers. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them are starting to grow up with a sense of honor. And at 15 years old, will look at another black man and say, yes, sir, no, sir. You understand? So a lot of our teenage boys is not the way the news portray them to be. You understand? They are not. You understand? This 15-year-old boy was sleep in his bed. He wasn't out doing no kind of trouble at 2:45 in the morning. You understand? Now he's in the ICU in critical condition after getting shot in the head, man. So here's the thing. What does Black Lives Matter have to say about that? Nothing. That's not their concern. That's not their concern. Which means that if I get shot, I can't count on Black Lives Matter to stand for me to get justice. I can't count on Black Lives Matter for that.
That's right.
You understand? But yeah, you want to give so much love and support to Black Lives Matter, rally behind their cause. You got them cats, the NFAC, the not what do they call it? Not effing around. Not effing around coalition.
Not fucking around coalition.
The not effing around coalition. Listen, they following Black Lives Matter because that's the only thing they beefing up about. You understand? Everybody want to support Black Lives Matter and their cause. Black Lives Matter don't care about Black Lives, man.
Go ahead. Like if I could, I'm gonna look into it a little bit more, but I think there might be some information about the leader of that group working closely with George Soros. So I'm gonna look into that more because I've seen a couple of posts and a couple of articles about that. I'm gonna check into that deep because I know somehow somewhere down the line they're not solid. Not as solid as the way they try to portray it.
Come on, man.
Yeah, they're not as solid as the way they try to portray it.
Yeah, man. I mean, of course they not. You understand? Of course they not. You know what I mean?
And then here's the crazy part to me, right? They went and they marched up to the so-called Ku Klux Klan or the KKK or whatever.
Right.
A lot of them, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? A lot of them Ku Klux Klan members that actually wear the cloaks nowadays or whatever, them guys is like retired 50, 60-year-old men who, whatever. What I don't understand is if you was gonna do that, why didn't you go to where the brutality is actually happening? It's in the police departments. Right. You ain't marching up to the police departments.
No.
You going and messing with some old racist crackers that still put on the damn, cloaks and stuff and have their little, meetings and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. You ain't going to where the problem is. It's the police that's out here killing us.
You see, white supremacy has evolved since the 1920s.
Right, exactly. That's my point.
So the Ku Klux Klan, yeah, they out there. They out there.
Right.
They out there. But here's the thing. A lot of what we facing nowadays is not even so much as the Ku Klux Klan, but it's more so white nationalism. Yeah. Because a lot of your white nationalists are politicians. Mm-hmm. A lot of your white nationalists are they lobby for politicians. A lot of your white nationalists are district attorneys, solicitors, public defenders, lawyers, judges. You understand? So a lot of these white nationalists, these are people that they not gonna stand out in the front line with a black mask and a gun on their waist. No. That's not their weapon of warfare. Their weapon of warfare is giving you a prison sentence or putting you on probation or keeping you under a microscope, taking your children from you, having child services come to your house every week to make sure that your house clean and all that kind of stuff. That is the battle that we are facing. That is white supremacy. Mm-hmm. You understand? The police officers, You know, a lot of these cops. And here's the thing. You know, I still think there's a lot more to that George Floyd story that ain't coming out. You understand? Because George Floyd apparently knew the cop that had his knee on his neck.
Heard like that.
You understand? And what was the town? The town he was in was kind of like a small town too.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. I believe George Floyd worked in a nightclub, if I'm not mistaken. I live in a little town called Anderson. And I can tell you this much. A lot of your bouncers at nightclubs are very familiar with a lot of officers in the small town. Because a lot of your officers get paid to be bouncers in clubs. A lot of times they have to get officers as well as bouncers to operate in nightclubs.
Right.
Like you might pull up in a club, you might see a police car sitting right out front of the club. Well, guess what? That's part of that security detail for the club that night.
Right.
And so you'll typically have the same officers working in security as a police officer and security guards. And so here's the deal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in these little racist towns, you know, of course, interracial marriage is at an all-time high. That's a plague in the society itself. You understand? But I believe that interracial marriage played a lot into how George Floyd was treated by those officers. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of these devils, especially in Anderson, a lot of times them cops, you know, if you're a black man in a car with a white girl, they running your name. Mm-hmm. They making sure you got a warrant because they about to drag you out the car and send you to jail for the night just to see the judge and find out that ain't your warrant. You understand? That happens in South Carolina all the time. That happens in Anderson. You understand? It's brothers. Listen, it's brothers that I know that's been killed by the police that you never hear about. That you'll never hear about. You understand? It's brothers I know that was chased by police, got away from police, but police, and the only reason why they got away because they was turning themselves in, but then the police started sicking dogs on them. You understand? And thank be to the Most High, this brother built like Samson in the Old Testament. You understand? You know, the brother got away from the situation. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. He got the scars to prove it. You understand? But in South Carolina, you don't hear about them stories. Them stories never make the news. You understand? You don't hear about the brothers that get found hung from a tree. You don't hear about that stuff in the news. You understand? You don't hear about that. But those are things that really happen. And a lot of the motivation behind a lot of it is interracial marriage. And guess what? There was a situation that happened. A matter of fact, what's the brother? Dang, I can't believe I called this devil a brother. The devil, Dylan Roof.
Dylan Storm Roof.
One of the main reasons he went and shot that church up was why? Because black men were so-called raping white men. And we know good and well that ain't happening. You know, white women ain't getting raped by no black man. You understand? White women, well, you in a relationship with a white woman, yeesh. Them devils giving it up at an all-time high. You understand? Ain't no rape going on there. But you know what? These devils hate it with a blood-curdling passion. They hate it with a blood-curdling passion. And there was articles that was going around. This was, how many years ago this was? Well, I was in Hebrew Academy when it started. During my time in Hebrew Academy, there started to be these pop-ups of all these articles of black men that were getting stabbed to death by white supremacists because he was in the bar with a white girl. So that is a sentiment that is very common amongst white men, especially white police officers, because a lot of them are white nationalists, white supremacists. You understand? And that got exposed when the brothers shot up them cops down in Dallas that time. And he shot them 4 cops in downtown Dallas, and then it turned out that all 4 of them was white supremacists. I still don't even understand that story. Like, why them 4? He knew something about them devils, and he wanted to end them. You understand? And that wasn't just some random shooting. He didn't shoot random people. He shot them 4 cops, and that was it. You understand? Not co-signing what he did. Of course, you know, in the UPK, we don't condone any type of violence.
Yeah, right.
You understand? And but you understand. But the thing is that a lot of these white supremacists, you know, they look at interracial marriage as highly contemptible to them. You understand? And they react violently to it. So, and George Floyd was married, you know, engaged to a white woman, who you know, and this cop probably seen George Floyd run through 1,000 white girls at the club. You understand? And the same white girls probably wouldn't give this devil, you know what I mean, they Snapchat. You understand? Well, you can't even get on the OnlyFans. You understand? So I'm still waiting on it to come out. But if he knew George Floyd and they were supposedly cool, as much as I know about white boys, I'm willing to bet that was the motivation behind it. You know, why he put his knee on his neck like that, and why he just did it with no care. You can't breathe, all right, no sweat. If he was a friend of George Floyd, if they was friends, he would have made sure George Floyd could breathe. Mm-hmm. You understand? He would have made sure of it if that was his friend.
Damn right.
You understand? If I was a black police officer and my knee was on a brother's neck, clearly see 3 other guys got him tied down and he telling me he can't breathe, I'm gonna do the sensible thing and take my knee off the brother's neck.
Salaki, if I may,
Go ahead.
I wouldn't even have my knee on the brother's neck.
Yeah, you right.
I mean, that's just how brotherly I am. I'm like, goddamn, I already got 2-3 other motherfuckers on the Salaki, excuse my language. Right. But me having my knee on is just like overdoing it.
Right. Like overkill. Like, you know what I mean? And the thing is that, you know what I mean, these we got to understand that it's a lot of the sins that we commit against the Most High is what causes a lot of the violence and oppression that happens to us. You understand? Not saying that officer was right for what he did. He was wrong for what he did. I hope they fire him and forget to put the wet sponge under his little electrical hat. You understand? I hope when they stick him with the needle, they accidentally put something else in it to give him excruciating pain till he die. You understand? You know what I mean? Or maybe they should just hang him and let him suffocate to death the way he killed George Floyd. You understand? But at the same time, you know what I mean, this devil was sitting there listening to him say, I can't breathe. And this is the thing, and I believe police are trained to think this. But when, for some reason, as George Floyd is sitting here telling this man, I can't breathe, when they killed Eric Garner, remember Eric Garner said he couldn't breathe.
Right.
They tried to justify Eric Garner, you know, saying it was an accident because if he can say he can't breathe, then that means he can breathe.
God.
But here's the thing: if you've ever been choked, you can get words out. Why are you getting choked? Yeah. You just can't get no air back in after you done wasted what little bit of air you had to say, "Hey, I can't breathe." Now you stuck. You understand? So you got to think about it. Just because you can exhale don't mean you can inhale.
Right.
You understand? And you know, it's just a sickening thing to see what's happening to our people, man. You understand? But it's even more sickening to see these things happen and then to see us continue down the same path.
That's right.
We just had this situation happen. I thought it was a boycott on 4th of July. Didn't black people unanimously agree that we were going to boycott the 4th of July?
I'm going to tell you what black people did in America. What they decided to do is they decided they was going to so-called boycott the day, but they were going to do something else, either to replace the day or they were going to do it on another. They were going to do the celebration on another day. And whatever the case is, the spirit is they were going to still do it in the spirit of 4th of July.
Right.
But they was trying to avoid doing it on the day, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So yeah,
Well,
yeah, but you're right. We were supposed to be boycotting the goddamn 4th of July.
Right. We supposed to be, come on, man. Black people were supposed to be boycotting the 4th of July. Let me tell you something. This is how I look at it. That idea of boycotting the 4th of July was a warning to black people to not celebrate the 4th of July. You understand? Because the Lord sent the angel of death out on 4th of July, and he did his goddamn job. You understand? The Lord sent that death angel to Greenville, South Carolina, and he did his job. You understand? Everybody trying to figure out what happened, how, what. Listen, you got a blood gang on stage performing in front of blood gang, and blood gang starts shooting at blood gang because blood. I don't know. I guess blood gang thought y'all was the ops. But y'all ain't y'all in the same. What's the point in being in the gang if you're gonna beef with y'all? If you're gonna shoot at your own gang members? I thought the whole point in being in a gang was the brotherhood. What that right there shows you is that ain't no brotherhood in these gangs.
That's right.
That's what that shows you. There's no brotherhood in the blood gang. Because if there was brotherhood in the blood gang, then that Forgiato, not Forgiato ain't the one that did the shooting. But if there was brotherhood in the blood gang, that shooting would have never happened. You know what I'm saying? That sister that lost her life. It was two people lost their life, right?
Right. It was an older gentleman and it was a young sister.
It was a sister and a security guard, I believe.
Right.
Security guard lost his life, and a sister, I think she had, 4 children or 2 children? So a sister, young, beautiful sister. It's a beautiful sister. You understand? Mother of 2 children. I might be wrong about the kids. Please, if anybody watching this and they from Greenville, please don't. Well, see, okay. Sean said there's different blood sets. All right. So here, how many UPK sets are there? How many sets are in the UPK? I mean, I get what you're saying, Ashawn. I get what you're saying. But I just want to ask a question real quick. How many sets are in the UPK? Sean said 1. Can I accept that as correct? Technically,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he technically right. If he's speaking of the ISUPK,
Right. This is one set. Right.
Then yeah.
So there's 1 set in the UPK.
But I would have said there is no sets.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You can say that. Yeah. I'll take that. You understand? That's a good answer. There's 1 set in the ISUPK. Now let me ask you this question. I.S.U.P.K. been around since 1969, right?
That's right.
How long the blood gang been around? I don't know. Let me look it up.
Okay.
Yeah. How long the blood gang been around? I'm not disrespecting the Bloods. You understand? Because I understand the foundation of why they even began.
Okay.
You understand? The Crips and the Bloods. Go ahead.
1972.
1972 is when the blood gang started.
So, like, if I could, it
Good.
originated in South Central Los Angeles, California, in 1972.
Now, if I'm correct, wasn't the Bloods a branch off of the Crips?
I'm not too keen in that how that started. I believe that's right, but I'm not sure.
I might be reverse. Sean, if you could help me out, I believe that the Bloods were a branch off of the Crips, or the Crips were a branch off of the Bloods. I think it was
Maybe
one of
Crips came first.
or maybe the guy who started the Bloods and the guy who started the Crips used to be tight. I can't remember. I remember. I think Randy Watts. I believe he the one who started the Bloods, wasn't it? I don't know. I'm about to be all the way wrong. Piss off all the Bloods I know.
What you talking about, nigga?
You only talking reckless on the screen, nah.
You get that 6-point stars and shit, boy.
Nigga. Okay. All right, so we just disregard that. He said not directly. But here's the deal, right? Why is it that there are so many blood sets, but there is one body in the ISUPK? And the ISUPK been around, you can't say about time, UPK been around longer than the Bloods. So why would you think that there are so many blood sets and only one set in the UPK? And we've both been around about the same amount of time. Why is there so many blood sets and only one body in the UPK? And the answer is simple. It's one word. Anybody can take a crack at it. Anybody, whether you're an officer, trooper, student, sister, if today your first day in class, shoot your shot, throw it out there. Why are there so many different sets in the blood game, but there's only one body in the UPK? Somebody answer that for me, Baba Kashah. I'll give you a hint. I already said it. You know, a lot of the questions that we ask in class is really to see who all paying attention. Okay. Sister Adrian says there's one leader. Because for a long time, the Bloods had one leader. So you can't say that. But that's a good try. But that wouldn't be it. Separate. Okay, Sean, what do you mean when you say separate? Being separated. Okay. I get where you're getting at. You know, a lot of that separation did come because of outside influences. So I can understand that, but I mean, there's been people that's tried to separate the UPK. The same people that separated the Bloods tried to separate the UPK. Why is it that they were able to separate the Bloods but not able to separate the UPK? Okay, being blood is like having another God. That's correct. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you for time's sake. The reason why organizations like COINTELPRO, the CIA, the FBI were able to separate the blood gang into many different sets, and for them to now be beefing with each other. And while they were unsuccessfully able to separate the ISUPK, it boils down to brotherhood.
Damn right.
Because there is no brotherhood in the blood gang. You cannot claim to have brotherhood if you are committing acts of violence against your own people.
Damn right.
You cannot claim to say you have brotherhood, but yet you are selling drugs to your own people. You cannot say that you are about brotherhood when you collectively oppress your own brothers. When in the I.S.U.P.K, like I said, the cornerstone of the I.S.U.P.K is brotherhood. You understand? It's brotherhood. If you got a problem with a brother, go to he and thee alone. You understand? That's what it boils down to, is brotherhood, man. You understand? I'm not gonna say which gang, but I knew brothers in gang. I knew several brothers in gangs growing up. And one of my closest friends was killed by somebody he would have done anything for. You understand? He was killed by someone he would have killed for. He was murdered, and he was set up and murdered by a man that he would have took a charge for. You understand? And that happened. I seen that happen at a very young age. I was very young when I seen that happen. You understand? I didn't even understand murder and death. I wasn't even old enough to really truly understand all those things. You understand? Like I was too young to really even know these cats. You know, thankfully the Lord was with me and I ain't catch a straight bullet. You understand? But this brother was a good friend to me. You understand? Taught me a lot of things growing up. And this brother got killed by a member of his own gang, by his right-hand man. You understand? And that taught me at a very young age that I don't want to be in no gang. Why I'm going to join somebody that's going to kill me? You understand? It wasn't because he was no snitch or nothing. He wasn't no snitch. You understand? He got killed over a female.
Right.
Over a woman. And I was at the age where I was like, over a girl? Girls? You know, I like girls, but I wasn't going to kill them. I wouldn't even fight over no girl at that age. Like, oh, you can have her. You understand? I still to this day ain't going to fight over no girl. No, you know what I mean? I'll fight. If you try to put your hands on her, that's a different story. But if she choose you out, hey, that's your headache. Shalom. You understand? But, you know what I mean? But there's no brotherhood in these gangs, man. You understand? That's why there's so many blood sets. That's why you got this blood set beefing. You can't call yourself a soldier in the UPK and be beefing with another soldier in the UPK.
Right.
You can't do that.
That's right.
You understand? It's unheard of. The South Carolina camp can't be beefing with the Atlanta camp.
Right.
It sounds laughable just thinking about it.
Right. Yeah, right.
You understand? Because the South Carolina camp will bust your head over the Wisconsin camp.
God damn right.
You understand? Like, that's the type of brotherhood you're dealing with in the UPK. You understand? We'll put up to back up brothers we've never seen in our life.
So like if I could, we got brothers all the way in the UK.
We
South Carolina. We little old South Carolina over here in the United States. That's little old UK over there all the way on the other side of the damn world. We done bunched your head for them niggas.
Man, we will pull up in the UK. You understand? we will pull up, eat up all the food at the Jamaican spots. You understand? We will pull up for our brothers all the way to United Kingdom. I'm sure you got brothers in the blood gang that'll do it too. But you know what? Tekashi 6ix9ine was in the blood gang. He was a blood gang member. He was the 9 Trays?
9 Trade, yeah.
He was a 9 Trade blood. Where was that brotherhood? That whole situation, that whole Tekashi 6ix9ine situation was all about a lack of brotherhood.
Yeah, right.
There was no brotherhood. You understand? From the brothers that brought him into the 9 Trays to the brothers who, hold on, let me see. There's not trust me. Brotherhood is everything I learned and embraced it from I.S.U.P.K. Damn right.
Damn right.
Get that brother a hand, man.
Who's that?
Rashawn.
Yeah, damn right.
Get that brother a hand, man. If you at home watching this, get that brother a hand, man. But you don't know what brothers go through to fight their way into UPK. I don't know about some fake Israelite groups. And a lot of fake Israelite groups, they still halfway involved in what they doing in the world, man. You understand? Still halfway involved in it. You understand? Big up to South Carolina, man. You know, I hate to toot our own horn. Got us a boot kiss this past Saturday.
Yeah, right.
You know, right there in downtown Greenville. You understand? Beautiful, beautiful thing. You understand? You know, UPK. That's how you know when you doing the work of the Lord, man. You understand? When you doing the work of the Lord got these ways of showing you that the Lord is with you.
Yeah, right.
You understand? There are things that happen to show you who the Lord is with and who the Lord ain't with.
That's right.
You understand? I ain't gonna speak too much on that topic, but all I got to say is there was a clear indicator on who the Lord was with in downtown Greenville this past Saturday.
Damn right.
You understand? I ain't gonna say no more about it, but
Damn
that's
right.
all I'm gonna say. You understand? You know what I'm saying? Because I should probably know what I'm talking about. You understand? You know, Sean, you should have been there. Wish you'd have been there. You know what I mean? You missed a powerful weekend. You understand? You had them devils on their hands and knees in downtown Greenville. You understand? Right in front of the spot where they used to hang niggas at. You understand? So, with that, I want to do this, right? You see, here's the thing. You know, oftentimes we like to think, you know, a lot of Christians believe that. You know, I don't know what they believe actually. I don't think they believe in anything because they just believe in, you know, I can eat all the pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster and have all the abortions I want. I can be as homosexual as I want to be. You understand? But here's the thing, man. I brought that article up because I wanted to show you something in the Bible. You understand? If I could, give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 21, Babkasha.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 21. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land, and whither thou goest to possess it.
You understand? The Lord, he was serious about these curses, man. You understand? The Lord said he was going to make the pestilence cleave unto us. You understand? Read on.
Verse 22. The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption.
Go ahead.
And with a fever.
Go ahead.
And with an inflammation.
Go ahead.
And with an extreme burning.
Go ahead.
And with the sword.
And with the what?
Blasting. And with the sword.
And with the what?
And with the sword.
What is the modern day sword? What is the modern? You know, back in the day, you know, officers of the law, or the knights, or the whoever was an officer of the authority, they carried swords on them. Roman officers, they carried swords. The centurions, they carried swords. You know, the goons, the goons in the back alley, they used to have them daggers on them. You understand? Them daggers be like about that long. It ain't quite a sword, but I wouldn't want to get stuck with one. You understand? What's a modern day sword? The Lord said he was going to curse us with this thing. What's the modern day sword, man? Right, Sean said a gun. Lord said he was going to curse us with them guns. We was going to be cursed to have to deal with that. Read on.
And with blasting.
And with what?
And with blasting.
And with what?
And with blastings.
And with blasting. You understand? With guns and with blastings. And guess what? This young child, this 15-year-old child, man, he suffered from that curse. You understand? He suffered from that curse, man. Somebody did a drive-by and pulled out the sword and blasted. You understand? There was it's like, it wasn't a little girl, it was like a 12-year-old girl got killed in Chicago in another drive-by. You understand? There was a situation happening in Anderson a couple years ago where a 13-year-old girl got murdered out in, I can't remember the name of them projects. Got killed out in the neighborhood, right out in the courtyard, man. Killed in a drive-by. You understand? Black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, we curse with that. That is one of them curses that the Lord said he was going to send on us for celebrating the 4th of July.
Damn right.
In the club, I can't remember the name of the club, Lavish. Right out here in Greenville, South Carolina. Guess what? 12 people found that curse. Got hit with that curse. They got blasted on in the club. Can you imagine being half drunk, turned up, next thing you know you on the ground, struggling to breathe, don't know what just happened, and you can't hear nothing? You understand? That's a chaotic situation to be in. When you inside a building and guns go off, you can't hear nothing. You can't hear. All you can do is see what's going on and smell the gunpowder. That's it.
That's right.
You understand? And all you know is you bleeding out your chest.
Damn
like,
right.
what the hell? I'm just trying to turn up. You understand? I'm just trying to turn up, Lord. You understand? Well, here's the thing. The Lord ain't playing about us celebrating these holidays.
That's right.
The Lord sent down the coronavirus to let you know you're not playing.
That's right.
And yet we want to sit here and play with the Most High. Listen, man, the Lord is a gangster. You play with him if you want to. It's gonna be your funeral. Something that your family gonna pull up to next.
Yeah, right.
It's time to get serious, man, and turn back to the Most High, man. And with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up the class.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and read the security announcements. I.S.U.P.K. security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. Started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3, verses 8 through 10, means tenth in the Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations.
I don't think that's updated. That's not updated.
Would it be the Feast of Tabernacles?
It would. I think so.
Hold on, memorial blowing the trumpets. Upcoming holy convocations. Memorial blowing the trumpets, which is the first day of the 7th month, which is Thursday, September the 17th, 2020, can be found in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 24 through 25. Remind Aki and Akwa to check the bulletin board in the hallway if anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black boots, shirts, pants, headband, and war scarf. And with that, Shalom, Israel.